Good morning all. As you can see, we're out and about in the car. Some latest news on Kobbie Mainoo, Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho and Lamens from Royal Antwerp as well. As ever, we're going to give our opinions on it and we demand yours, so get involved in that comment section and help support the channel by smashing that like button. Where should we start off, Rasmus Højlund?
Yeah, Rasmus Højlund, lots of clubs have been looking at him, a player who wants to stay, but there's no sentiment on this channel today with Rasmus Højlund. Looks like Napoli could be in for him, Kieran.
Yeah, it does, Jan, and it's looking like there's a proposal there with an obligation to buy, but I've seen Fabrizio Romano use terms like it'll be mandatory, though, that this actual deal at the end of the season will go through. It's not going to be this obligation to buy where Chelsea sent back Jadon Sancho paying just £5 million. Do you think of that fee overall for Rasmus Højlund?
I think that's a great fee. It's a player there. People didn't think we'd get a fee for him, to be honest with you, but Rasmus wanted to leave on his terms, and it looks like that's happening. He wanted an obligation to buy, and I made up for him. But like I say, there's no sentiment. Players have got to be shifted on, surplus to requirements, and Rasmus is clearly surplus to requirements. Other news there, Kieran?
I'd just like to say as well on Rasmus Højlund, I think it is a good move for Rasmus as well. I mean, you look at Scott McTominay, the way that's turned out for him over there. I mean, you've got Kevin De Bruyne over there with Napoli now, so there won't be really any excuses for Rasmus if he does start getting games at Napoli, because I think the service will be there, and it'll be interesting to see if many of us were wrong on Rasmus Højlund and if he starts putting the ball in the back of the net with the service behind him. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to keep Rasmus this year. I've always mentioned on the channel that I didn't have confidence that he could ever be the main man at Manchester United, more of a squad player, but I wanted to see this season with the likes of Cunha and Mbumo behind him instead of the likes of Garnacho and Rashford and Antony, whether he could actually start putting that ball in the back of the net with chances created. But by the looks of it, we're not going to get to see that. But I do wish Rasmus all the best, coming at a time where he was expected to be the main man at United at such a young age without that actual experience at a top club. So for me, hopefully he does well in the future, and like I say, I just wish him all the best on Rasmus and his move to Napoli if it does go through.
Yeah, well, we're all waiting on news on transfers for the so-called bomb squad. Discussions there ongoing with Chelsea, apparently. Kieran, what do you think about Garnacho? Just seems to be dragging on and on and on.
It does. It's just on and on and on. You're quite right with that. And I think the way it is with Garnacho, I think Ornstein said it, or it is in the Athletic this morning, that they do expect that this could even go up to the final day. Talks are still continuing with Chelsea and Manchester United over settling on an actual fee for Garnacho. I've seen rumours last week that Chelsea only wanted to pay, was it 25 or 30 million for Garnacho? And for me, it's got to be a minimum of £40 million for Garnacho. And that's with add-ons, or at least a sell-on clause inserted in there, just in case he does boom at Chelsea, which I think he's got all the talent in the world to do so. But it's that attitude. If you've got that attitude in football, and even if you've got the talent and you don't want to work hard, it'll just fizzle away. And it'll be interesting to see if Garnacho gets his move, because I mentioned on here last week, if he doesn't get his move and is still at United come the 2nd of September, I can guarantee you he'll be going out and about, whether it's South America or Europe or here, just like his idol done, and he'll be doing interviews on Manchester United. I actually think that's the makeup of that lad and his agent.
Well, I look at Garnacho and I think to myself, with Chelsea, I did say it'll go down to the wire, possibly the last day, and there is a chance that this might break down. Chelsea are digging their heels in. They want to pay a certain price, a price below United's valuation, and most United fans. So I think to myself, this could go pear-shaped, to be honest with you. And Garnacho, after snubbing, and I mean snubbing, interest from Bayern Munich, he could end up with egg on his face here. He should never listen to clubs speaking to him, so-called, don't you worry, we'll get you sorted. These things can break down. And I think this Garnacho is on the edge, to be honest with you, because this has gone on and on and on. Now, the one continuing talk about a player is Lamens, the goalkeeper. We all want a goalkeeper in there. But talks are continuing. It's as though talks have stopped over the bank holiday weekend, but I don't believe that. I think there is negotiations still going on by all reports, Kieran.
Yeah, by all reports. Yeah, it was in the Athletic, a bit of an update again this morning on Le Mans, and yeah, I've always wanted a goalkeeper ever since the start of the window. At one point, I did expect Man United to try and keep faith with Onana, but that was only based on not being able to shift him out of the door with his wages, and most importantly, his poor performances over the last 2 years. And it looks like they've targeted a young goalkeeper, I think 23 years of age, from Royal Antwerp, and it's a matter of, is this lad ready right now to come in, put the shirt on, and handle the pressure that's going to be on him and that spotlight? Because we've had 2 goalkeepers now who don't look confident, they make mistakes, and the spotlight's going to be on him from the media. It's a matter of, has he got the ability, but most importantly, can he handle that pressure? I don't know a lot about him. I've seen a lot of stats out there comparing him to Donnarumma on certain stats. He ranks out higher than Donnarumma.
Well, there can't be any problem with a £17 million reported fee, what Royal Antwerp want. We've got the money. We had the money there, apparently, to go in for Belieber. So really, this should be getting done. Let's hope this gets done quickly, over the line, and this goalkeeper comes in here. Yes, we've got a game against Grimsby. We've got a game against Burnley. He won't be featuring that. Let him settle in. You've got the international break, so that's all right. Now,
to be honest with you, if he comes in the next couple of days and he can be registered for Burnley, I'd throw him in. You can't continue to put any of them 2 goalkeepers in. You've seen it with Bayinde, with Fulham over the weekend. Why wait for the goalkeepers to make mistakes? Get players in before the mistakes happen.
Well, I'm sure out there, some people will be concurring with Kieran's opinion.
Concurring, that's a big word for this time in the morning.
I brought it back. It's an early morning thing for me. But I think a lot of people will concur with Kieran on that one.
It doesn't feel like you saying concurred. No. Just say agree or something like that.
No, I'm sticking to concur. But me personally, I don't see that happening. I think he'll have a lot to do. Medicals, settling in and all that. Now, situation what's coming up, Kieran, came out yesterday, more about it this morning, and I'm not surprised. It's Kobbie Mainoo, and I've just looked at Kobbie Mainoo, and I think to myself, the stories last year about his contract with his agent coming out and that he wants his contract sorting out. Well, today, more news about Kobbie, speculation, reminding us there's 2 years left on his contract. So, Ruben Amorim came out this weekend and he turned around and said he is fighting Bruno for that place. Well, Bruno always gets picked by Ruben Amorim. He never gets dropped. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, Ruben Amorim saying, you're not getting in this team because he's the captain, he's the number one go-to man, and he's always playing. So no wonder, Kieran, I'm telling you, no wonder reports and stories are coming out that Kobbie Mainoo will look to get out.
You've packed a lot of info there for me, and I'm going to start at the start of what you've just said.
Yeah.
And that was you mentioning about his contract. Reports out there have been for a while now, as you all know. He wanted £180,000 a week. Manchester United, in my view, quite rightly, have rebuffed that. I don't think Manchester United will want to pay anywhere near that for Kobbie Mainoo. And let's be honest with ourselves. I think Kobbie Mainoo's got all the talent in the world. He can be any player he wants if he puts that hard work in training and on a match day, most importantly. But he is not worth £180,000 a week right now. I think the likes of Cole Palmer at Chelsea are on 130 grand a week. I think Ahmad as well, who recently signed a contract, was it back in December, 130 grand a week roughly. I mean, I'd expect Kobbie Mainoo to be around that mark, but no higher than that based on what he's done at Manchester United. Yeah, he scored some important goals for us in big games. I mean, the lad has got the talent, in my opinion. But for £180,000 a week, if that is true, and that's what he's demanding, I'm sorry, but I can't see Manchester United buckling on that, and they will look to offload him, I think. And to be honest, I can't argue with that. It'd be sad to see Kobbie Mainoo go, because I think he's got a really high ceiling, and I do want the lad to be a part of the future here at Manchester United. Just with him being an academy player as well, it seems like, just off the top of my head, that we're losing more and more academy players. And this is what the values of this club was always built on. bringing the academy lads through. And I know we've shaved it once or twice over the last 12 or 18 months, having that record of always having, one of the youngsters from the academy in the match day squad. So, yeah, I'm a little bit torn. But if the player and his agents are all about the money, demanding 180 grand a week, and that's true, I mean, no player's bigger than Manchester United. And whether I think he's got all the potential in the world to be a great player, I mean, Man United moves on. So,
yeah. Well, I look at it, £180,000 a week, as Kieran says, if that's true, is a bit high. The structure, United just ain't paying them money,
No.
that amount of money. We know that. But I look at Kobbie Mainoo and I say to myself, all this talk about transfers and that, it looks as though he might go. Now, will he go with a week to go? Definitely not. Definitely not. But the reports are going to come, and if he doesn't get game time, and fair enough, if he's not getting game time, young player wants to play, he's got lots of potential and that, then you have to say, fair play, out you go, son, go and get a game of football, go and find a club. I think that's what might happen. I'm not saying it's what I want to happen. I think it's what may happen in the future. Young player, it's happening all the time now. He's got the potential, but unfortunately, for some reason, and I don't know that reason, why he's not getting game time. We've seen the good performances. We've seen the good performances. We've seen what he did. He got into the England side and that, and then suddenly he's out of the team. But hey, the kid will fight back. He's got the spirit. I've seen him. We've all seen him, to be honest with you. He can do it, but there's a position there, and Ruben Amorim's definitely said he's got to get in front of Bruno, and we all know.
Well, that's the problem, though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that is the problem.
The thing is with me there, with Kobbie or any other players, I'd always say to him, look, put it in training. If you're putting it in training and you do it on the pitch, how can the manager then drop you the week after? But when you're hearing the manager saying that he's in competition and he's working against Bruno in training to be then starting on a match day or even getting game time, I mean, that just like deflates you, to be honest with you, where you think the manager's never going to be dropping Bruno. If Bruno's fit, when Bruno's even injured and he's carrying injuries, he plays, and that's under Ruben Amorim. It's been like that under Erik ten Hag, and Kobbie must be sat there just like we are as fans thinking, well, when am I going to get a game?
Well, Kobbie,
am I only going to get games against Grimsby and the ilk of that? Maybe a chance in the cup competitions, and you can see it with a World Cup year, just like the other players out there. He might be looking at that and thinking, I might need a season-long loan because I want to go to the World Cup. And from my point, I can't blame him for maybe wanting to do that. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed that he's not communicated anything directly to Manchester United, but is there a bit of a brief there from his agent to certain journalists out there to say, like, look, he's not happy with the competition, that he'll only get game time if Bruno's injured, etc. Or, it's a baffling one, and it's one that I want to see sorted out, because I don't want to go into this season when that transfer window shuts, and I don't want any of this negative culture, the negative vibes around the squad. Little stories coming out that players aren't happy with this, players aren't happy with that. If any of the players aren't happy, you need to leave, and you need to leave as soon as possible, because it's the club first, and it's as simple as that.
Well, the thing is, Ruben Amorim doesn't rate him in front of Bruno. He's not going to get a game time, so there's more to come on this as we go along.
Please wait.
Thank you.
Yeah, just turned up now at Old Trafford Football, just pressed the buzzer. Also, there's news out there on Anthony as well and Sancho. It looks like them deals might be going to the last day along with Garnacho. So they're definitely ones to keep an eye out on. I can't expect Ruben Amorim to integrate them back into the squad, even though he said that publicly. I mean,
not a chance.
You might as well just fold the club if they're coming out with statements like that about separating them and isolating them from the squad, then bringing them back into the squad. I mean, for me, if that was to happen, nothing's changed here at Manchester United at all in trying to change that culture and mentality around. But yeah, I think the Kobbie Mainoo one, it's one to keep an eye out on at the moment. It'd be interesting to see against Grimsby if he starts. I'd love to get 60 minutes and Sesko against Grimsby, and let's see what happens against Burnley over the weekend. But like I say, that's some competition there with Bruno Fernandes for such a young lad who's still learning the game, still developing as well, and in competition with a player who never gets dropped. I mean, I can understand it maybe from Kobbie's eyes that, you know, when am I going to get game time? But let's wait and see what happens. Get your thoughts and opinions in on the chat and smash that like button to help support the channel, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.